Today, I'm going to show you how to build a beautiful leather and wood valet tray to help you get your life a little more organized, help you misplace things a little less frequently, and even better than that, it's super inexpensive, easy to build, and it's beautiful. Let's do it. Hi, and welcome to Burke Makes Stuff. This is the workshop. I'm happy that you're here with us. Have you ever lost something? I used to all the time until I implemented a French phrase. Yes, French. It's called mise en place, and it's actually a culinary phrase, and it means everything has a place, and everything should be in its place. And if you hold to that, you always know where things are. So in the project we're going to be doing today, making this leather and wood valet tray, it's going to give you a place to put your wallet, your cell phone, your keys, so that you don't lose them and you always know where they are as long as you put them where they're supposed to be. I just want to take an extra 5 seconds of your time to say something that really matters to me. Something, depending on when you're seeing this, is about to happen that really just messes with my head. We're about to cross the 650 subscriber mark. I don't understand that. It's crazy to me, and that's not thanks to me, that's thanks to you guys. You guys are a wonderful community, and I'm thankful that you keep coming back. Now, if this is your first time with us, to be part of that amazing crew, all you gotta do is click subscribe and smash, ba-ding, that bell icon. That connects me to you, and anytime I upload something new to the internet, you will be notified promptly. Again, thanks so much. So, let's get into it. I love this project. I'm super excited for some reasons I'll tell you after the project about how you can use this. That's about it. Let's do it.
Let's take a second to look at most of the materials we're going to need for this project. First up, we have a miter box and a miter saw, which we'll talk about more in just a moment. We're also obviously going to need wood for this project. This piece here is going to act as the base of our tray. These craft sticks, we're going to use 2 of them at the end just to put some trim around this and make it look good. And these 2 garden stakes, they're called, we're going to cut and use for the border all the way around. Now, all of this wood cost less than $6 when I went to Michael's craft store. You can walk in there and walk out with what you need. We're also going to need some wood glue for this project, a sanding block to clean up the wood after we cut it. Of course, if you don't have that, you can use sandpaper. You can use a measuring tape to help you measure to make sure things are right, a pencil to mark where those measurements are, and Super 77 adhesive spray. This stuff is awesome and super sticky. It's used mostly to hold fabrics to things, and I'm going to use it in this project to hold the leather onto the wood permanently. So what is a miter box? It's just a 3-sided plastic cube in this case that has grooves put in it specifically to help you cut 45 or 90 degree angles. 45 being across at a diagonal and 90 being straight across the wood, so you know you have a perfect cut. Now the other piece of this puzzle is the saw that goes along with it. That saw fits into those grooves and allows you to make sure you are cutting a perfect 45 or a perfect 90. As with all tools, there is a right and wrong way to use a miter box. As you can see here, a miter box has a little lip that's meant to fit over the edge of a table, and then you simply screw that in place with the lip over the edge to make sure you have a stable base to cut on. Once we have the miter box firmly secured to the table, you're ready for the wood. So you take your tape measure, you find out exactly where you want that 45 degree angle to be cut in your wood, and make sure you mark it with your pencil. Then you bring that wood over to the miter box and clamp it in place so that it's secure while you cut. Grab your saw, make sure your mark is exactly where you want it, and cut the wood. It's very important that when you cut each of the sides that go around the tray, the angles are correct. You want them facing in towards each other, not going parallel with each other. By making sure that they're cut this way, when you take 2 of the 45 degree cuts and put them together, you'll get a 90 degree angle, which is perfect for the square corners of this tray. Now you continue to measure and cut all of the 45 degree angles needed on the side pieces, and when you're done, it should look something like this. This is a really good time to grab either your sanding block or some sandpaper and make sure you go over all of those edges that you just cut. Next up, we have a very important step that I don't want to overlook or not do the justice of explaining. Gluing this thing together is very important. And I know a lot of you are going to say, well, why don't you use nails? Why don't you use screws? Wood glue will do this job with no problem. If used correctly, wood glue actually has a stronger bond with wood than wood does with its own fibers. That's quite a lot of strength. So you want to make sure you're putting this on all of the surfaces that meet. That's where the sides meet the base and where the sides meet each other at those spots we've just cut. Now you'll see here in just a second that I decided to only use 3 of the 4 rails for the sides of this tray. And the reason for that is actually very simple. I usually carry change in my pocket, and that's definitely going to end up in this tray regularly. And I can't stand when you put change into a box that has 4 sides and it doesn't come out easily, and then you have to spend the time taking each individual piece out. Just annoying. It's time to get this thing clamped up and let all that glue dry. This is actually one of my favorite clamps to use. It goes around the piece completely, and when you apply pressure and tighten up the knob on the handle, it applies pressure equally all the way around. Now for a quick shop tip. And this one I actually got from a guy named William Walker, who has one of the greatest YouTube channels for woodworking I've ever seen. His work is impeccable. So you take a straw and you cut a piece off, and then you bend it and you use that to scoop out the glue, and it gets so close into the edge it gets everything you can possibly see. One of the things I was lucky enough to come across on one of my journeys was this bolt of leather that I've had in my shop for quite some time. I use it on occasion for different projects, and I thought this would be awesome to line the bottom of the Valet tray. So all I did was measure it out and cut it to fit. Now it bears saying that while you're cutting this out, it doesn't have to be an exact fit, just close, because we're going to end up adding trim in there that's going to cover up all of the edges to make it look perfect. Once our glue is dry, we can take the clamp off and put it away, and start thinking about what kind of stain we want to put on to bring a little color to this project and make it look rich. For this project, I'm going with Valet Stain and Poly. This is in a dark walnut semi-gloss. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, this can has been with me long before I even had a house. So we're going to give it a good shake up and we'll see what happens with it. Now with most stains, you have to put on multiple coats, and each coat makes the wood look a little bit darker. And in between each coat, you have to sand it down just a little bit to make sure there's no dust or any particles stuck in it. And then add another coat, and another coat, and another coat, and this takes a while. So I'll fast forward this for you. So here we are after 4 coats of stain and sanding in between each coat. You'll see that the edges that go around the base are far darker than the base itself. That's because I'm planning on covering that with leather, so I didn't worry about it all that much. You need to make sure this thing is completely dry, and then you take painter's tape or some masking tape and you put a border all the way around the walls around the base, making sure you cover every inch. It's time to bust out the aforementioned Super 77 multi-purpose adhesive. This stuff is awesome for putting things places when you never want them to come off, ever. So this will be perfect to affix the leather to the base of the Valet tray. Now we're just going to make sure we spray on a nice even coat across the whole thing and give it a couple of minutes to get really sticky, really tacky before putting the leather down carefully, because when it goes down, it's not going to want to move. I take that extra leather and use the Super 77 to attach it to the bottom before cutting off any excess. After giving it a little while for that glue to get dry, very carefully remove all the blue tape. Now just looking at it, it looks pretty good from a distance, but when you get up close, you can see that there's a gap where the leather meets the wall of the Valet tray. Now we knew that was going to happen because we only cut it sort of to size, not exact. But that's okay because we're going to use those craft sticks we have to fill in that gap, cover it, and make it look perfect. We'll be using one of my favorite shop duos, that's Super Glue and Instaset Accelerator, in order to hold those trim pieces in place. The greatest part about using these two together is that the accelerator takes Crazy Glue, which is already pretty awesome and dries in a couple of minutes fully, and accelerates it to dry in about 8 seconds. Now for the trim, we're going to very carefully take the measurements of exactly where they need to be and transcribe that onto the craft sticks themselves and cut them out. I then sanded all these trim pieces down to smooth and went about the task of putting together a cheap makeshift spray booth for putting a clear gloss poly coat on all of the trim pieces. So I accidentally already glued the trim down, but let's pretend I didn't, and I'll go through and explain to you exactly what I did. I took the crazy glue and went all the way around the border before the trim was there, obviously. And then I took the accelerator and sprayed it directly on to the trim pieces. And then when I held them in place, I held them there for 10 seconds and they were totally dry and ready to go. So there it is, guys. Mise en place. Everything has a place and everything is in its place.
All right, guys, there it is. I love this project. One of the main reasons why, other than it's totally doable for you, yes, you who's watching the screen right now, this is a super easy, inexpensive build. But the other reason is because these are sellable. If you go onto this website called Etsy.com, E-T-S-Y, it's an amazing site where you can find some really cool stuff. It's an artisan site, so artists go there and they sell their stuff. You find these things, they're called Valet trays, for anywhere between $40 and $150. That's crazy. I have about $10, $15, and a couple of hours work into this, and you can do it too. Now, there's definitely a couple of things I would tweak if I did this again. This is the first one I've ever built. Like, I'd probably change the color. While I like the dark wood, it blends a little bit too much in with my kitchen, but that's going to be different for everybody. You make it your way. And on that note, I'm guessing you probably don't have leather laying around. Now, I have this video up here that could give you another really cool idea. It's all about doing wood burning without wood burning tools. Now think about it. You could put someone's name on the bottom, you could put a funky saying like, put your crap here. You could do anything. It's up to you and your imagination. Go use it. I'll see you next time, Wednesday, 4 o'clock. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Smash that bell. That way I'm connected to you and everything I upload to the internet you find out about right away. Can't wait till next week. See you then.